Yeah, I'm going to comment a little bit about the gold shuffle. And I know there's been a lot of alleged talk about how much gold there is in, well, there isn't any gold in Fort Knox. I think it's a, place where they have the Army has the tanks and I think they store nerve agent there or something like that, or chemical agents. But the gold is actually in the New York Federal Reserve. And right across the street from there is a J.P. Morgan Chase vaults at the same level, so many stories down. And I know it's been alleged that, and I think it's pretty obvious right on the face of it, that, yeah, they are playing a gold shuffle. So in other words, customer comes into J.P. Morgan Chase vaults and takes a look at the gold and says, yeah, it's all there. And then they tunnel it down through underground over to across the street into the New York Federal Reserve. Somebody, and it's back there again. And actually, I don't think they have it. But, I'm going to speculate on something here, because I'm going to speculate on a few things, and I'm going to throw you a few things in this video besides basically not related to gold exactly. But I think if they have gold stored, I think the United States does have a lot of gold. I think it's in underground military bases, to tell you the truth. If, say, for instance, there was ever a way to actually simultaneously check J.P. Morgan Chase vaults and the Federal Reserve at the same time, and you say it came up way short, I think the gold isn't really gone. I think it's deep in underground U.S. military bases. And you can say, yeah, there's no gold military bases. Yeah, there's been underground military bases in the United States since the 60s. Definitely. And even before that, and also the Russians have them. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's not even a theory. It's just that, I can't say, well, we know in Denver, Colorado, there's a lot of stuff over there. It's getting pretty damn obvious. But I'm going to put it to you this way. What I think is coming up, though, is there's going to be a deliberate financial crash of pretty much the Western powers. There's going to be a leveling off and a bailout by a world authority. So there is going to be a gold panic. Now, do beware of the shills, because there's loads of them out there. Actually, I'm getting sick of these people, because, even these people that are putting out YouTube videos on stuff, repeating and regurgitating garbage that's out there about, well, I mean, from these pastors, these web bots, and all this other garbage. Well, the point is, the crowd freaking goes for it, so they put them out. I don't think they believe them. The crowd goes for it, so who's to blame there, right? Is it them, or, well, you know what it is, they're playing a game. But I'm going to actually interject something here, because, I was looking at some of this stuff with this Donald Marshall, and I'm not going to go into his other crazy stuff about the cloning and droning and stuff like that, but, the one thing that gave me the most credibility to this guy was how he pretty much called out the major alternative media as disinformation. And you can watch him till you're blue in the face. You're not going to figure out what's going on. You're just going to be steered wrong. But it's like basically Alex Jones, David Icke, David Wilcock, Ben Fulford, Jesse Ventura. I don't know. There's a whole pile of them out there. And even the guy that's Ron Paul, the alternative, politician for the Constitution. He says they're all down with him, I always figured that deal. He even said that Gaddafi was an insider and stuff like that. He wasn't really killed. That was like a setup. It was a look-alike, a clone, he called it. I thought it was just a double. That's what I always thought. I always figured with Saddam Hussein, the guy they hung wasn't him. And the policy change, I'm going over this really fast because I'm getting sick of going over it, because I think the policy change, even when they had, I'm flipping around on things, but if you want to get into some real conspiracy, that's probably legit. The policy change they had in Iraq, where they used to change they changed from taking dollars for oil. They would invest in euros instead. I think that policy change actually came about by Saddam Hussein's sons. I think he was already dead. There was an operation he was supposed to have in Italy that was pretty risky. He might have died. He had so many doubles out there that, they could have covered it up. I don't think he changed the policy. I think the sons changed the policy. When we attacked them over them changing that policy to investing in euros for the oil they received, the two main sons were the main target. And the guy they hung was never it's pretty obvious he wasn't Saddam Hussein, not just by his looks, but by his teeth, because Saddam Hussein had perfect dental work. The guy they hung didn't. I think with Gaddafi, and this is something he was talking about, this Donald Marshall guy. I thought this before. This is the only thing that's making me make him think he's got some credibility. But the thing is with Gaddafi, I think he was a real true insider, and any idiot would know. I mean, I know the freaking revolutionaries are stupid, but if they knew he was in that area, he's worth too much. He's worth too much. Even our people would have controlled that, Like Benghazi was a setup, Christopher Story was murdered, basically. There's a lot of garbage going on here. Some of these conspiracies aren't freaking... They're freaking legit. They're pretty obvious to me. Now, actually, I want to get into something here because, I know a lot of times in the conspiracies things, everybody's out there to blame the Jews on everything, right? I want to tell you this. I think Adolf Hitler himself, he was a true insider of the inside. I don't know if you want to use that word Illuminati or whatever, but he was a true insider of the inside. I think that guy escaped from Germany. And, the reason I say that is because the only fact I know for sure is that the one they found that they said was him wasn't him. That wasn't him, man. That proved out to be not him. That turned out to be not him for sure. So if that was faked, his death and suicide and the burned body was faked, he escaped. And if he lived for many years thereafter, that means the real insiders had a plan all along on something. And part of that plan was to eliminate a lot of Jews. See what I mean? So the real insiders aren't Jewish. That kind of tells you that. People disagree with that, but that's what I want to tell you because I think Adolf Hitler got away with it, man, all the way. I'm not for the guy, I'm not saying that, because some people that are into this stuff, they're like, oh, it's good. No, I'm not saying that it's good. I think that guy was fucked up beyond belief, but I think he got away with it. So anyway, what I'm looking at, though, is what I'm thinking is coming up is that they're going to come up eventually with a financial crisis. It's going to be all the paid shills out there, all the freaking big alternative disinformation media is going to say the dollar's going to zero. I bet you it don't go to zero. I bet you the dollar stays around for a freaking very, very long time. And the gold prices and silver prices are going to go up, but they're going to go way above what it should be. And the way I'm looking at it is this, because first off, what's going to lead the charge with the gold and silver prices is the high oil prices. We got a number of hot spots that it can happen anytime. I don't know when. I mean, there's been stuff that could have happened. It could be with Iran. It could be with even Libya right now. They got Marines right off the coast because there's a civil war with Libya again. Possibly. There could be anything that can happen. And the USA is pretty much, the guys that are with the money have already set up, pretty much got all the shale oil production going. And they're going to, if they just create any kind of upset in the world, it's going to drive the global price of oil way up. And they're going to charge whatever the hell they want. So they'll do it. But I have to state this. Long term, that can't happen. Because, there's an old adage out there, necessity is the mother of all invention. And I do think they do have other cheaper methods of alternative energy out there that are far cheaper than using crude oil. And, well, when you look at mining cost of the operating expense, the bare bones operating expense, about almost 50% of it is energy. But that's being used in a way of conventional fuels like diesel and things like that. Well, yeah, the mining costs can go way the hell up, and you throw in the shills with all the panic about the financial crises that's probably going to come up. It'll probably go way above, and they'll be very profitable on top of it, and they could super spike. I think the metals are going to super spike. George Soros himself told us that the metals, gold, is the ultimate bubble. He said that a few years ago. Back then they were thinking he was talking about it was in a bubble back then. I think he's talking about it's gonna be the ultimate bubble. He's heavily invested in the miners and stuff. So is Paulson and everything else. But the only way they're going to be able to freaking, get out of their position is if they get other idiots to buy it high. And they've done this before. They've done this in 2011. There was a lot of predictions from the shills that silver was going up to $100, so people weren't selling at 40-something, right? Loads of people were predicting that stuff all through 2011. Pastors and experts with crafts, lines and graphs and charts and everything else. Same deal. They're going to do the same thing all over again. And that's how they sell. They got to find a buyer. Nothing when they sell something. It's not one side. They don't sell it to something imaginary, They sell it to somebody. And somebody's going to be people that are paying attention to these alternative media shills, the major media, alternative media shills. So, that's just how it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen that way. But what looks like, I think there's going to be a little more than this, because if there's ever something where the price of gold and silver goes up to these astronomical prices, it's not going to be a walk in the park. Our society is going to be like in turmoil. It's going to not be a walk in the park, man. I actually want to add something here because there's a lot of other games going on, and it's kind of all related to this where your freedoms are involved. I saw something in Georgia recently. I think it just happened the other day, and I picked this story up on the major media. There was some kind of gunman that tried to storm a courthouse in Georgia with an assault rifle. And just conveniently, the SWAT team happened to be like right there, and they reacted in 37 seconds, and they took the guy out. And I said, "Wow, that's really convenient." I was thinking, you know what? I don't think that was a stroke of luck. I think the whole deal was another one of those false flag setups. That's what I think's going on. Because bottom line, when it comes down to your personal freedoms, the only thing that's really screwing up the New World Order and all that other garbage, if you want to call it that, is an armed population in the United States. Something else Donald Marshall said, and I agree. This is why I'm like paying attention to some of the other stuff he's saying, although he could be just brainwashed or to instill fear into people. I really don't know, but sincerity seems to be there with this guy. But he said that they're going to try to make the New World Order, whatever it is, the guys on the top, are going to try to make the United States look like the bad guy, mainly, which, yeah, it ain't perfect, and Russia and China look like the heroes, the good ones. But the stuff that's going on in Russia and China is like way worse. They got a way more totalitarian system than the United States. The United States has been the only country, flat out since, I don't know when, thousands of years, I don't even know if it goes all the way back to recorded history, where people actually broke away from the bullshit. Problem is, what's going on? People in the United States are lazy as shit and are screwing up. And they're thinking, let's have a debate. Really? Have a debate, huh? Debate? Yeah, let's have a debate and see who wins. And no, they're trying to screw you over. And that's the game that's going on. That's the game that's going on all the way. But I think the problem is that most Americans have already turned into a bunch of pussies, and it's going to cave in for that reason, because most Americans are, even the few that are waking up, are just following the alternative media like the Alex Jones, the David Icke, David Icke, Ben Fulford guy, all these conspiracy clowns out there left and right, and people don't want me to say this, and they get pissed off, and I'm like, what can I do? What can I do? There's no waking up an idiot. So, I think when my deal is with gold and silver, I may sell it a little bit too early, but you think I'm going to stake paper cash and just hold on to paper cash? Hell no. Hell no. It'll be something else I'll move into. That'll be constructive. That can make money for me or whatever. So, that's what I look at it. A lot of people it's like I'm dealing with idiots when I'm dealing with people on YouTube. I'm dealing with idiots. It's like no business will, say for instance they had a whole pile of land someplace they weren't using, right? And they did this, and they're just saying, well, that's not our main business. That's sort of like what you do with your metals. That's not really what I do. I got these metals or someplace. But say you're a business, and you got 500 acres someplace, and you just have it. And then all of a sudden it becomes like prime land because either they found minerals on it or oil, or they found it's going to roadways going through there and it's going to be worth a lot or something. And they sell it, and they get this big capital gain. You think they're going to say, we're going to just sit on it and stick it in a money market forever or something like that, and that's all we're going to do with it? No, no. You look at the balance sheet of every business, the biggest item on the balance sheet definitely is not cash. So if they have, but you will take cash at the point of exchange. But you go into another capital asset. You make another investment. So that's my whole point on gold and silver. I will sell it. I will sell it when the price is right. I know people want to keep throwing stones at me and saying, "Oh, you're gonna take fiat?" Forget it, man. I'm dealing with idiots. I'm dealing with idiots. And these are people that never even seen the inside of business 101. Of course, you take cash at the time of sale. You think that means you're going to freaking leave it like cash forever? No. No. Do you know what your plans are going to be at this time or something that's going to happen in the future? Not really. You got to keep your nose out for what's the best deal around at the time. That's really how it works. So I want to put this in perspective because, I mention this Donald Marshall guy a lot because, not that I am believing the clones and, well, I could a little bit believe not believe it, but I also know there's scientific evidence if you backtrack a bunch of steps for the cloning theory. But some of the other stuff he says, it's not like I'm not into buying into that stuff because I think it's way out there. You know what the thing is that gives him the most credibility is the fact that he called out all these people I always said were disinformation, BS, that they're owned little puppets that are in the alternative media, including politicians, including people that wear pastors' cloth and all this kind of garbage. And also the fact that he pointed out that they want Americans to become disillusioned with the United States, our way of life, or whatever it is, our system and everything, and all what we have got going on here, and make Russia and China look like the good guys. They ain't gonna save you, man. They're gonna screw you up. That's the one thing he says. I've been saying that all along, and he's saying that. I'm thinking that's a different type of animal that's coming out from this guy, because what I'm looking at is usually with the alternative media, they kind of like interview each other and they support each other more or less. You know what I mean? I always call them out. They're a bunch of BS, man. The latest I saw from Alex Jones, he put a big title on some damn video out there about, I don't know, some alien lizard crap or something. I forgot what it was, and Texas gun owners, and it was like, it was at a carnival. It was a blow-up doll of a freaking, I had to look at it. I said, what the hell is it? I wonder what this guy's going to say. It was a blow-up doll of like a dinosaur, Dino the dinosaur or some shit. And he punched it and he says, oh, take that from gun owners. And I was like, and he probably threw an advertisement at the end of it or something. I don't know. But anyway, I'm putting this out here because, I'm not going to, the majority of people are stupid. That's the way it goes. Majority of people are stupid. You're not going to get the inside scoop by clicking on a button and listening to a video. I'm putting out the way these guys think. I'm giving you the insight on that. I don't need to talk to an elite guy because I already know like a lot how people think on the top. I already do know how they think. Lindsey Williams don't. He's a freaking flaming idiot. He's a moron. Or he's just freaking DVD buyers are morons. But, I can't do nothing about that. I can't do nothing about that. It's just the way people are, man. It's just like, You know, even unintentionally, like I mentioned before a bunch of times about H.G. Wells and a radio show on the Martians. Well, people were jumping off of freaking roofs because the Martians were coming, because they did a skit back in 1938 about H.G. Wells was talking about the Martians were coming, and even announced on the radio that the Martians story was just a radio skit, and people believed it. Ain't nothing I can do about that, man. So, you know, that's the way it goes. I think what's going on is there's going to be a deliberate financial crisis set up. It's because it's becoming obvious they're playing the debt on purpose. The debt isn't going down. They're going to break the governments in the United States and Europe, and they're going to kind of level everything off, and they're going to have one big global financial system. But they're going to control you in a lot of other ways, and part of it is through this healthcare deal. Because this healthcare deal is actually modeled after this. It's Soviet healthcare. You know, they used to say back during the Soviet Union, it wasn't really like the gulags where people were put in. It was in the re-education camps, man. You got a psychological disorder because you ain't thinking right, because you're questioning the government. See, that's what Obamacare, Hillary Care is about. Same old bullshit, right? You know what I mean? So, you know. But people are going to take it, man. They're going to freaking go for it. But I'm telling you straight up, there's not too many people left in the United States that got any backbone. And that is 99% of the problem right there. And you know what? If you ain't got backbone, you don't deserve freedoms anyway. So I'll leave you with that thought, because that's 99% of the problem right there. People don't have backbone. They're all... And this is why all these stupid, giddy rumors take off. It's really simple. You know, the Bill of Rights is probably the best thing in the world right there. I mean, it doesn't, like, grant us our rights, but it's a legal document that binds the government. It's law of the land, despite all the Karen Holdis, whatever the hell her name is, saying that the Constitution has been rescinded since 1871. Bullshit, lady. The Bill of Rights is the law of the land. And see, the Bill of Rights is about everybody's rights. It's that simple. You just got to have the balls and the backbone to stand up for your own rights. And, you know, they're setting up a lot more of these false flag BS attacks. Like I just saw that one on the, you know, with Georgia the other day with, you know, the assault on the courthouse with the assault rifle and all this kind of garbage. And the SWAT team was happened to be right there and reacted in 37 seconds. Really? Okay. I'm just going to play the law of averages. How is that a stroke of luck or is that a setup? I say it's a setup. You know? So they don't want you having guns, for one. That's another deal. And that's all related to this garbage, man. But and when there's a financial crisis, well, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know what the hell you can get for, say, silver was, you know, say, for instance, I could go buy the whole Chase Manhattan Enterprise for a roll of coins or some shit. I don't even know what I'd do with it. I'd be saying, I wouldn't even want that damn place. It's worthless to me, man. So, you know, I look at all these yo-yos on the top as worthless, and I don't pay attention to none of this stuff. So, that's just how it is. That's just how it is. You got to be independent and think on your own. And most people aren't willing to do that.